want to ask Mel, because I was in the back, I heard your view on this. How did you feel about Logic and his dad on when they did that shit?
I didn't see enough of it to be able to comment.
Embarrassing.
What can you give me like a brief overview?
Logic did a content piece with his dad, and he just highlighted some things that it didn't seem like his dad wanted highlighted. He talked about his struggles with addiction, talked about how, yo, you be asking me for money, yada, yada, yada. Like, he just put a lot on Front Street with his dad. It was a very awkward content piece. A lot of people came away from it. Well, I think I talked about it here.
You did?
Yeah, you did.
I was like, you fucking piece of shit. Like, wow.
You know who I like seeing? But he's talked about it in his music. But even in that, I think he's still done it in a respectful way. Drake and his connection with his dad, he's spoken to how he's had moments where he felt like he was absentee or this and that. But anytime you see the interaction, it's still respectful.
Yeah, that's
it's still a level of, yo, you know what? I look at you and I see me. And I see some of the things that you've done in the past, I'm doing today. So I understand how you could get to this point. Like when I watch how I interact with my oldest son today, I'm so careful about it because I look at that and it reminds me of how me and my dad was.
So that's your attempt to break a cycle.
So, but a part of breaking the cycle is also understanding how someone could get there.
Understanding, yep.
And
Okay.
wanting that love and wanting them to actually be able to say, yo, you know what? I know you have your flaws and I see you trying to work through it. And I can also understand how some of your flaws turned me into this person.
Okay, so but
now it's not the moment to just be like, yo, here, look at yourself in the face.
But at what point does the child get to acknowledge their anger and their...
When did the parent?
Maybe
the parent did it.
Wait, hold on. Wait. But a lot of times we're learning in real time.
He smoked that.
Right?
He killed him. He killed him. That was an amazing question.
Listen,
amazing question.
My mom was in a house of 16 kids. Grandfather was a tough military Freemason nigga. He locked up the refrigerator at 8 o'clock. If you made food, everybody eat it. If you don't eat it, you ain't getting up. They were raised in such a certain household. My mom left at 15. I don't never want to be in that household again. Boom, boom. She came through certain trauma. She's looking for a way out. Yeah, naturally, she's going to pass some of that shit.
And going to make some mistakes.
And she didn't get a chance for someone to say to her, do it this way, do it that way. She's trying to figure it out. So now when we get older and we see our kids and we start resembling some of that, you start to learn to understand where mom and dad came from.
And back then, when our parents was growing up, they didn't have those type of rights.
They didn't have no lessons. They
didn't have no type of rights and rules and social. They didn't have that. So
and
the
internet breaking down psychosis and trauma.
They only did the best that they could do. Like in real time right now, I'm learning with JR in real time. I got to find myself telling him, like, I want to tell him. Even this morning, I was talking about something. If you don't want to do something, just say you don't want to do it. Tell me. Now, in his mind, he going to say, well, if I tell you I don't want to do it, you're going to get mad. But even if I get mad, I'm not going to do nothing to you. Okay. Let me get mad. Hold on. Let me get mad. Let me go on my car. Let me sit with that because I'm learning in real time to accept you telling me no to something I want you to do. My daughter, Princess, nigga, when I see my father, I'm still like, yes, daddy, what's up? Like, that's what I was taught. There's nothing wrong with that. He always been there. Same thing with my mom. It's more vocal to her, but what I'm saying is that we all learning in real time. Yep. You know what I mean? I used to be mad at my parents.
And you know what? And that argument can be applied to the kid because the reality of the situation is...
The kid is learning in real time, too?
The kid is learning in real time, even as they've grown into an adult, like that's that they're processing information and they're also processing emotions that are still kind of arrested.
That's a false, but that's a false
a very false parallel.
Because the parent is responsible for the kid.
And not just that, the parent not going to judge the kid for mistakes that the kid made. The kid going to grow up to judge the parent for mistakes that they made, and the parent didn't know any better. It's not like you had a parent handbook on how to raise a child.
That is not what
she got a point to her argument. You know why? Because the parent says, I'm the parent.
That's not what I'm talking about.
Come on.
Okay, to your point, my mom was very stoic, you know, and that's because she was Eastern European. They are very stoic people. Her mother died when she was 15 years old. She was a day girl in a fucking convent. So she grew up Catholic. Like, there was not a whole lot of warmth and love in my mother's household. And that translated into her behavior towards me. I often question, does this woman even fucking love me? But it's because she didn't really have the examples of how to show warmth. I understand that. There is a very big difference between that and what we're talking about with Gerard Carmichael's father, because I see parallels in his father and my father. And there is a point in which you are an adult, and yeah, you might not have been shown the right way, but then there's a point in which you are an adult and you know the difference between right and fucking wrong, and you're just a selfish fuck. There's a difference between those two things.
Right.
And that is what Gerard was trying to communicate to his father, the hurt that was caused by his by his abandonment of his family when he was cheating on his mom and having other, children outside of the marriage.
How dare he, though?
Stop, wait, let him finish. Let him finish.
Yo, I could not be more with you
I'm with him.
on that point.
I watched the whole show with the same
strange
person.
Men
what the fuck
in
you
every
talking about?
hotel that he was in.
He's
and guess
single.
what?
He was one of the most promiscuous and disrespectful men.
Hang out.
He's single with no kids and not
Because
married.
niggas use this as a crutch. I'm only doing this because I saw my dad or my mom do this, and that way you don't have to take accountability for none of the shit that you do. So back to your situation, and I'm not going to bring it on your father because I don't know your situation. I'm going to put it to Gerard Carmichael's father. What if he saw his father do that? The same way you just said your mother grew up like this, and as a result of her growing up like this, she was like this. What if he is like that based on the things that he saw and the things that he experienced?
So I just think that was literally, the conversation was a process of understanding himself through the actions of his own father. That's how I processed it.
But that's not what you said 20 minutes ago.
I can appreciate that, but the
because
approach,
I didn't get a chance.
Mel, I can appreciate that part. But your approach in delivering that message to your father in that way is not going to be read.
You cannot guarantee, or you cannot say how somebody's going to be able to approach you when they feel like you've done them wrong over the course of many, many years.
So
you can't control how somebody's going to want to identify the problem and have a conversation with you about that. You can't, especially if your child is now an adult.
I have a question for you. Did you have conversations with your parent?
I didn't get a chance with my dad because he was.
your mom when you were younger. Did she?
No, because I was just angry.
So to both y'all,
I was just angry, and so that's what I'm saying is I relate to the fact that he might have arrested development in terms of his emotions, and he might still have the anger inside of him that he had when he was an 8-year-old boy and a 15-year-old boy, and he has not worked through this.
But you wouldn't have done that. But you wouldn't have done that, would you?
Can I ask you something?
I was a fucking bitch to my mom.
Can I ask you something? If it's too personal a question, you don't have to answer it. But you was just speaking about. Our resentment or some shit. Do you feel like your feelings as far as your dad go have kind of crossed over to how you view men a little bit?
Oh, that's a good question. No.
Why not?
Because my dad...
Oh, she's on the floor. It's a knockout. It's a knockout.
It's not a knockout.
But I would like to hear.
I got a question after, yeah.
Please.
It's not a knockout.
I love that. Let me please answer. I love this.
Let me ask my question after that.
Go ahead.
Finish, Mel, because I'll ask afterwards.
Because I don't see a lot of parallels in the women that my father dated and married, the women that he was involved with, the just the way that he went about things. Like, the way that I look at my mom is my dad was extraordinarily controlling and my mother was under his thumb. I am not that. I am the antithesis of that.
I don't think that's what I'm saying.
No. So a man like my dad would have no effect on me. He wouldn't be able to enter my fucking realm.
You would avoid it. So that
why you're not answering me.
I am.
Yeah, you would avoid it.
She is, but what you're at. Yes.
So you asked if my father's behavior reflects how I view men in general,
and you want to avoid it.
No, because that man would never know.
Because you would avoid it.
So the answer is all right.
You would avoid it. Yeah.
So to
she
you,
may not be there yet, but the answer is yes.
So to you and Ish.